Do you want to go to Antarctica?
No.
But before we can even think about setting sail, we've got to get to work on the interior of our boat because there's no sailing it in the state that it's now. And we're also going to show you some never before seen smart tech that's going to change the way you interact with everything. This is Luke, and I'm Lori, and we're halfway through building the boat of our dreams thanks to our Patreons and viewers like you. And if you're dying to see where we're gonna go from here, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and ring that bell. It's a totally free way to keep the journey alive. Hey guys,
Hi.
We are at Marina Itajaí because we're gonna visit a friend and he's gonna show us something that he made himself, and it is super cool. We are here in Marina Itajaí, and I wanted to introduce you to our friend Dudu because he has invented something that is super cool, and maybe you should have this in your boat. This is not sponsored or anything. This is our friend, and we wanted to bring you this information because we want it in the Lajacay, and it's amazing.
Bom, olá, tudo bem? Eu sou o Dudu, sou da empresa Cipro. A gente desenvolveu então um painel inteligente que se comunica com a internet. A ideia desse painel veio porque a gente mora num veleiro, né? E a gente começou a criar várias necessidades que a gente viu assim, onde nos barcos não tinha muita tecnologia. A parte de painel, dos barcos mais antigos principalmente, são só chaves simples com fusíveis e uma coisa muito simples. Desde que a gente começou a morar a bordo e eu comecei a trabalhar com barcos, né, a parte elétrica, eu comecei a ver que não existe nada muito tecnológico ainda nessa parte. Desde então, eu estou já há 3 anos desenvolvendo esse produto, onde eu quis trazer toda a tecnologia que já existe, né, até do mundo de casas inteligentes, de agora barcos inteligentes, né. Esse painel ele é inteligente, ele se comunica com a internet. E daí nele você tem um aplicativo onde você consegue monitorar vários sensores que estão dentro do barco. Então, para muita gente que deixa o barco e vai embora, né, consegue, né, na palma da mão ali tá observando como é que tá as baterias, como é que tá os níveis de tanque de água. Tem algumas automações, por exemplo, se começar a entrar água no barco, né, ou a própria bomba de porão já anuncia, já traz uma mensagem no celular.
Isso é muito legal, porque tem coisas no celular.
Então eu quis criar alguns alarmes para a pessoa realmente conseguir monitorar a distância do barco. O próprio painel já tem um localizador de GPS, aparece já, né, onde o barco está ali, se a pessoa deixa o barco, por exemplo, numa poita, né, a pessoa consegue monitorar, ver se o barco está lá ainda. A ideia é essa, trazer essa automação e com vários alarmes para mostrar como que o barco está, né. E mesmo no barco mesmo a gente consegue acionar e desacionar pelo aplicativo qualquer coisa. O painel ele tem uma integração com a Alexa, então você consegue também falar com a Alexa, ligar as coisas e desligar. A gente tem também alarme de ancoragem, por exemplo.
Como você criou mesmo essa?
Duda went on to tell me how during the pandemic, while we were all stuck inside our homes, he and his family were stuck inside their boat. But instead of despair, this was a time of inspiration and opportunity for them. This was the moment he started building the Cipro panel by hand, welding, programming, and testing his latest invention. And we were all following him along online for each amazing milestone. What you normally find in the electrical panel of boats is just the fuse box, where you can have also a switch panel as well. The great part about this is you don't have to remove anything. The idea is to install the Cipro in concert with your existing setup. For example, the batteries pass through the fuse box and then into the Smart Command Center, and that will have all of the automation you need. So Dudu made it so that his invention can be installed in any kind of boat and any kind of electrical setup. It has a touchscreen that has a lot of options for you monitoring your boat. There is a GPS location with latitude, longitude. It can even show you your battery bank setup with multiple banks, and you can monitor your power levels. It can even warn you if you're consuming energy at a higher rate than your batteries are being charged. You can monitor your temperature readings in real time of things like the boiler or your motor. You can even check your water levels or even how much diesel you have in the tank. There's a lot of configurations and customizations that can be done so everything corresponds with your boat's unique setup. And one feature that we really like is this anchor warning. You can configure where your anchor was set, and the SeaPro will monitor the distance from your location and send you a warning if the boat has drifted anywhere between 10 to 100 meters away from its original anchoring point. And you can see on the screen where your anchor is in relation to the boat. This one is currently right on top. And as a boat owner, you know that feeling. And wouldn't it be nice to never have to think again, I hope my boat is still where I left it. So not only is the system accessible by this panel that he created, but it's also on this application. So if you're connected by Wi-Fi or on a network, you can activate pretty much anything on your boat or monitor it. And it has this awesome app as well. The app shows you everything that's on the panel's own screen and is synchronized to everything on your boat, like latitude, longitude, battery banks, motor status, how much your solar panels are charging, how much you're using in energy, and so much more. But now, you don't have to go to your navigation desk every time you want to know what's going on. In fact, you don't even need to be near your boat. So an amazing feature about this panel is that you can install Alexa. So we have Alexa here, and he's going to show us some of the examples of what we can do with Alexa and this technology.
Alexa, ligar a luz da cabine 1.
Tudo bem.
Ah, that's so cool.
Alexa, ligar ventilador.
Tudo bem.
Alexa, ligar água. E o legal é se você estiver aqui fora, é só falar, Alexa, ligar os instrumentos. O legal é que a Alexa também é 12 volts, então você pode ligar diretamente nas baterias do barco, né? E não precisa de 220 para ligar ela. Então ela fica totalmente integrada na embarcação, né?
Yeah. Please follow along and support our friend Dudu and his family on their amazing journey. We have really high hopes for his invention, and we can't wait to test it out on the Laha Kai as well. Here we did all of these edges, really. We focused more underneath these blocks. As you can see, we were starting to paint them with the roller and realized that we use so much paint. And not only that, it's very inconsistent and very blotchy. So here you can see that it's not really evenly covered. So looks-wise, it doesn't entirely matter, but as far as thickness and coverage and sealing the paint, does. So we want these coating systems to be nice and even. So now we have a professional come in, he's going to spray this whole boat again, and then we're going to have our fourth layer, and then we're going to call in inch coatings, and they're going to come and actually measure how much thickness we have to see how much protection we have on the boat.
It's looking really, really white now. And now we're gonna come in and do all of the electrical wires. We're gonna put all the wires in place and get it ready so that when they come in with the wood, they'll know where all of the outlets are and everything's gonna be. So we're gonna start with taping it up, putting little markers on, and then mapping everything out. So we bought these little tiny Post-its, and each one of them is going to represent a different connection, like outlets, lights, and other devices that we might have. And we're going to put these around the boat. It was challenging doing it in 2D because it is a three-dimensional situation, and we're going to have wires going below and on top. So we're going to try to tackle this in real time and see where the wire is actually going to end up and where are our connections, how many connections we have, and then go from there. We have green, this blue wire, which is 1.5 millimeters. We have our orange, which is our plug, that is 2.5, this yellow. And we also have 6 millimeter, which is our lead strips, because lead might be pushing a lot of little energy, but because there's a lot of lights in a lead strip, it ends up pulling a lot of energy. So we definitely wanted this to be separate in the case that we need to conserve energy. This is the first thing that's going to go off. As you can see, we started by pinning up some of these wires. The blue, remember, is our singular LED wire. And we're just using tape right now to pin it up. So we can get a good idea of the length and how many wires are passing in the same direction. So once we know that, we can use things like this. We found this conduit that we thought was really interesting because it has a piece that just pulls off. And so we're thinking we can coordinate with Mobilimar that if we can put like a conduit here, that perhaps they can also create a panel that's removable. And so we can get to these wires in case we need to fix something, pass more wires, or remove anything. It'll be accessible. So let's see how much we can actually have as far as flexibility and access to these wires. So we're starting just by measuring the positive wire and putting it in the wall, because we're going to take them down and probably push them through a conduit. And then we'll measure, this is the neutral wire. We have all color coordinated as far as neutrals and positives, and then we'll wire both together. done here. We've passed all the cables. Keep in mind, these are just the positive cables that are gonna go to our 12-volt battery setup. Right now, we are going to stop and we are gonna talk with Mobilimar. We're gonna show them what we have here and see where in the design these actually lay. If this has to be down further, up further, if we'll be able to have access to these kinds of wires. And then we're going to move them and we're going to be able to put the conduits in the correct place. We're going to put them back labeled with the negative wires near them. And we put a lot of extra wire here because who knows what's going to happen. If we need to move around the space, if it's going to be end up in a different location, we have tons of extra wire to do that. So next week, we are going to show you, because we're going to keep working here, we're going to show you installation, because we're going to be working on that. And once we have the installation, we can put the wires back on and the conduits on, and then keep this going. Because we're going to finish this boat and it's going to be amazing. So if you have any questions about electrical, any comments or tips or anything like that, let us know in the comments.